Welcome back to the Badass Broadcast where we keep it real, raw, and unapologetic as fuck. I am your host, favorite fire starter, and nervous system regulator, the Queen Lady T. And today we are reaching back to piggyback off of that episode about dating app etiquette. Yeah, you know the one. And if you don't, go back and listen. Because I promise if you are out here in these dating streets, you don't want to miss these. So on that last episode, we talked about what you're bringing into dating. Your mindset, your patterns, your profile, your energy. But today, we're taking it off the app. Because matching is one thing, but how you move after that is where everything either aligns or falls apart. So, let's get into it.
It's the best broadcast. It's the time step into the spotlight.
So, picking back up where we left off, let's start here. Stop texting strangers like they're real people yet. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that realistically. Texting is a highlight reel. Anybody can sound like a whole vibe behind a screen. Funny, engaging, emotionally aware, all the right words, all the right timing. But that doesn't mean that's who they are in real life. So when you sit there texting for days or even weeks, building this idea in your head about who someone is, you're not connecting. You're creating a fantasy. And then when you finally meet them, reality shows up like, yeah, this ain't it. And that disconnect, that's not bad luck. That's what happens when you rely on words instead of energy. Get on the phone, get on video, hear how they think, not just what they say. Feel their presence, because connection is not just communication, it's embodiment. Now, let's talk about actually meeting, because this is where common sense and self-respect need to come together. We are grown. Act like it. Meet in public first. Do not get drunk with strangers. Do not put yourself in situations where your safety depends on someone you don't know yet. Now, I'm not about to give you some silly list of places that you don't accept for a first date, but I will tell you someone's house is definitely not it. We are not Netflix and chilling on the first date unless you are already planning on doing a little bit more. Because let's be real about it. If you're saying you don't want sex, but everything about the setup is leading there, you got to use your discernment. And if they are running that line about how they're not trying to have sex with you and it's not about sex and blah, 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 but the first time they meet, they want it to be at their house, come on, use your discernment. Because from my experience of being a woman, like all my life, there are a whole lot of men out here who will tell you they're not trying to have sex with you. They'll agree to your boundaries. They'll say, oh yeah, we can just chill. Or I respect that. I want to get to know you first. And then the next thing you know, it's let me give you a massage or some other bullshit. And somehow 5 minutes later, they're trying to negotiate your no. And I wish I was exaggerating. I wish this wasn't something so many women have experienced multiple times in their lives. But it is. There are grown men out here who genuinely believe if they just keep asking, keep pushing, keep touching, keep trying, eventually your no will turn into a yes. And because you technically gave in, they convince themselves that counts as consent. But what it is disgusting and honestly desperate. And this is why I keep talking about discernment. The purpose of what I'm telling you is not to make you fearful or to take a jab at men, because it goes without saying, once again, it's not all men, obviously. But any man who gets offended by what I'm saying, I wonder why that would be. But my whole point is to help you avoid ending up in uncomfortable situations in the first place. Whether you have already gone through it, it's something you face a lot, or you've never had the disappointment of it yet. I want to help you to be smarter from the beginning. Pay attention from the beginning, because once somebody starts showing you they don't respect boundaries in small ways, believe that. Don't keep giving chances hoping they'll suddenly become emotionally intelligent halfway through the night. And listen, grown-ups, men especially, if sex is your goal, then say that. Be honest. There are literally women out here who want casual connections too. Literally women out here who are okay with that. Stop pretending to want something deeper just to gain access to somebody's body. Stop pushing yourself on women who are clearly telling you no. Nobody is playing hard to get. We are not in high school. When a grown woman says no, that should be enough. After that, it stops being attraction and starts becoming coercion. And while we're here, let's talk about something else people tend to ignore way too much. Pay attention to how somebody speaks to you from the very beginning, even through text. Because if the first thing out of somebody's mouth is, hey, sexy, damn, you're sexy, sexy this, sexy that, I can almost guarantee you where their mind is at. And maybe that works for some people, but personally, that doesn't impress me. I actually told a guy recently, if you want my attention, you're going to have to come with something better than that. I already know I'm sexy. I don't need you sexualizing me in every text. Right after you just told me you want to get to know me, you don't just want to have sex with me. Really? And well, surprise, surprise, I never heard from him again. And I am perfectly okay with that, because all that told me was that my boundaries required more effort than he was willing to give. And that's why knowing yourself matters. Knowing your standards matters. Loving and respecting yourself matters, because the moment you know your worth, you stop getting emotionally swept away just because someone compliments your appearance. Of course you're sexy. You're a woman, a queen. You are a fucking goddess. But somebody finding you attractive does not automatically mean they respect you, value you, or deserve access to you. Stop assigning deeper meaning to basic attraction. Let people show you who they are. And when they do, believe them. And speaking of performing, can we stop doing that? There's nothing more unattractive than someone trying to be what they think you want. Let's drop the scripts and the mask and the let me impress you, because that version of you has an expiration date. And when it falls off, that's when everything falls apart. And also I want to add, dating is not a pissing contest. It's not a competition. If I share something about myself, that's not your moment to one-up me. This is not a highlight reel battle. This is a connection. Relax into it. Be present, because the right person is not looking to be impressed. They're looking to feel something real. And that brings me right back around to one of the biggest things people struggle with: letting people be who they actually are. Stop trying to turn connections into something they didn't agree to be. Let it unfold. Not everything is meant to turn into a relationship or a marriage or forever. Some people are lessons. Some people are experiences. Some are just there to expand you. And when you try to force it into something more, that's not alignment. That becomes attachment. And attachment will have you holding on to something long after it stopped being right for you. Now let me ground this into something real, because a lot of people don't actually know what healthy looks like in real time. I met one of the best men I've ever known on Facebook dating. We messaged a little, nothing crazy, and then he asked for my number. And let me pause right there, because getting someone's number does not make you special. It does not mean exclusivity. It does not mean anything has been established. So when he texted me, he told me who he was, very simple, respectful, aware. That alone told me he moves with intention. We text briefly, then set up a video call. Not dragging it out, not playing games, not expecting access to me without effort. He worked around my schedule, 5 kids, a full life, and that mattered. That's consideration, that's awareness, that's effort without pressure. We got on video. We ended up talking for over 4 hours. No forcing, no awkwardness, no performance, just flow. And I was so taken by the fact that he never tried to impress me. He was just himself, and it was fucking adorable. So we ended up going on like 3 dates in a 3-week span. No rushing, no pressure, no weird energy. And eventually I went over to his place. We made out. And when I said I wasn't ready to go any further, that was it. No guilt, no switch ups, no passive aggressive behavior, just respect. And I'm not even gonna lie, I was not used to that. My old patterns kicked in, and immediately I thought, oh yeah, I'm probably not gonna hear from him again. And I was like really stressing about it. Like, I had called my friend and I was like, damn it, I don't think I'm gonna hear from him again. Like, should I call him or should I wait to see if he's gonna call me? And it's really sad. And it's because I have been conditioned from a lifetime of the bullshit to believe that no sex meant no interest. But while I was in my head and trying to figure out if I should call him or if I should wait for him to call me, he texted me while I was at work. And I told him my assumption. And he was like, that's why I gave you your space. I never want anyone to feel like that. And it was just like, whoa, like this guy has emotional intelligence. Like, that's awareness. That's someone who is not moving from ego, but from respect and presence. So fast forward, we are coming up on our 3-year anniversary. And I know this is the part where everybody's like, 3 years, like y'all should be married. Why aren't y'all in a relationship? Because again, we don't have to be. That's society's bullshit and conditioning that people like to push on others. But we are perfectly fine where we are. That was never our agreement. We didn't force it into something. We let it be what it was. And because of that, it became one of the most consistent, easy, and supportive connections I've ever experienced. No chaos, no confusion, no chasing, just alignment. And I know that goes over a lot of people's heads because most people aren't used to love without attachment, love without labels, love without what religion or society tells you it needs to be. If it ever turns into more, great. If it never turns into more, great. And let me tell y'all, if I can clone him, I would have one for everybody. I will give him away right here on the show because I feel like everybody should have a friendship like this. And another part of why it worked is because we didn't treat dating like a job interview. Y'all be asking people 5-year plan questions on date 1 like you're hiring. Like, relax. You didn't meet an employee, you met a human. Real conversation will tell you everything you need to know. How they think, how they respond, how they treat people. Stop trying to force clarity immediately and start paying attention to consistency over time. And here's another thing I gotta touch on. Preferences are not rejection. If someone doesn't want to date someone with kids, that's their preference. That is not your worth. You don't need everybody to choose you. You need alignment. Stop trying to convince people to want you. That's where you'll lose yourself. And not even just the thing with kids. It could be your weight or your height or the color of your skin, whatever it is. Let people have their preference. So what? Fuck them, honestly. Just go find somebody who is for you. Like, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. I'm pretty sure they'll find them something else to sip on. Not my business. And while we're here, let's go ahead and ruffle some feathers real quick and break through this illusion of the one. This idea that there's one person you're supposed to find and lock in forever. That's conditioning. You can have multiple meaningful connections in your life, People come for seasons, lessons, growth. And when you try to hold on to something past its purpose, that's where suffering starts. I can't tell you how irritated I got every time somebody was like, oh, you're getting a divorce, y'all couldn't work it out, or don't do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, mind your fucking business, please and thank you. If you want to go force yourself into something that does not make you happy, be my guest. I'm not going to. Things end. Not everybody is meant to be forever. Relationships run their course. Know how to let go and move around, and stop letting people convince you that you have to stay in situations where you are miserable. And now I know this might be one of those conversations that make people uncomfortable, maybe even defensive, because it challenges what you've been taught, how you've been dating, and what you've been holding on to. But if you can just sit with it for a second, really let it land instead of fighting it, this could save you so much time, so much heartache, and so many repeated cycles. Because at the end of the day, you don't need more time. You need more awareness. Dating is not a job interview for marriage. And honestly, I think that's where a lot of people fuck up in the dating world. It is not a job interview for marriage. It's an experience. So know yourself. Set real standards, hold your boundaries, drop the control, and let people reveal themselves. Because the moment you stop forcing, you start attracting what actually fits. And before we close out this episode, I just want you to take a deep breath with me for a second. I know conversations like this can bring up a lot. Maybe some realizations, maybe some discomfort, maybe even memories of times you ignored yourself or overrode your boundaries or accepted less than you deserved. But this is not your moment to shame yourself. This is your moment to wake up, to reconnect with yourself, to remember that your boundaries are not too much, your standards are not unreasonable, and your intuition is not something to negotiate with. So take one more deep breath and repeat after me. I don't need to abandon myself to be loved. I trust myself to recognize what is aligned and what is not. I honor my boundaries without guilt. I release the need to force, chase, or convince. I deserve connection that feels safe, mutual, honest, and respectful. And I no longer confuse attention with love. And if this episode hit you, if it made you think, reflect, laugh, cringe, or finally feel seen, make sure you share it with someone who needs this conversation. Because these queen codes, they are not just for queens, they are universal. We are not here to keep repeating cycles. We are here to heal, grow, and move differently. So be sure you subscribe, leave a review, send this to your group chat, your homegirl, your homeboy, your situationship, whoever needs it. And stay with me because we are just getting started. Remember, my loves, you are an unstoppable badass, worthy of everything your heart desires. Let's get it.
Feel the heat when I walk in. Bow down.
If this episode spoke to your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Like it, share it, send it to someone who needs a dose of badassery in their life. Want to be a guest on the show? Got a powerful story, message, or mission? Apply now at unstoppablebadass.me. If you're a seer, light worker, or spiritual badass who's done shrinking, step inside the fire and rise with us in Sacred Wildfire, my virtual queen circle. Feeling stuck or ready to break through? Book your free badass breakthrough session and let's uncover what's been holding you back. Clarity, power, momentum, all waiting on the other side. Ready to activate your healing gifts? Enroll in my Kundalini Reiki Activation and Attunement course. Step into or deepen your healer's journey with sacred energy work that transforms you from the inside out. Want to show some love? Donate or shop at buymeacoffee.com/The Queen Lady Tea, because your support helps me keep lighting fires and dropping truth. You can find all these links and more in the show notes or at my website, sacredwildfire.com. Thank you so much for rocking with me, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Badass Broadcast.
It's the Badass Broadcast. It's your time, step into the spotlight, let yourself shine. Every word, every beat, your truth out loud. This is your kingdom, stand up proud.